Toronto condos were considered once to be a golden investment, but those days are probably long gone. If you own a condo in the Greater Toronto Area, what I'm about to share with you might completely change your strategy. Well, hopefully before it's too late. In this video, I'm going to share with you 6 reasons why you may consider selling your condo right now. And make sure you watch until the end where I give you my verdict on whether or not you should sell your condo at this time. Hello and welcome. My name is Sid Sir from Team Sir Real Estate. I'm a local real estate agent with a real estate team right here in the Toronto area. I help clients with buying, selling, leasing, investing, as well as all aspects of pre-construction condos. If this is your first time on this channel, please consider subscribing. There's also a link in the description to book a one-on-one time with me to see whether or not buying or selling is right for you at this time. So for years, probably the last couple of decades, buying a condo had been a pretty wise decision for a lot of investors. They were easy to manage, they had a pretty low price point and an entry point, and historically they pretty much guaranteed great ROI and yielded great returns. But today the landscape has completely changed, so let's talk about why that is. The problem is we're now seeing a perfect storm that is making condos a tougher investment than ever before, and here are the reasons why. Well, first and foremost, there's a ton of supply. There's a lot of condo supply in the market, mainly because a lot of investors have started to back out and decided to sell their condos over the last 18 months due to high interest rates and their condos being in negative cash flow. And when you have that amount of supply and not enough demand, that's what's creating this high demand or high supply, low demand environment that's making prices trend lower and making condos sit on the market longer. Not to mention, we have upwards of 30,000 new condo completions coming to the Greater Toronto Area in 2025. That's also combined with the 25,000 new condos that were completed in 2024. So it's so much new inventory coming in, already existing inventory. You can already imagine how high the supply is going. And when you have that kind of high supply, but not enough demand, it's going to continue to put downward pressure on pricing. Which brings me to my second point, which is the lack of demand for condos right now. Historically, there was a lot of investors that were buying condos, and there was a good healthy amount of end users also buying condos because it's a lower price point entry level property for most buyers who can't afford $1 million home. So condos typically made sense. They'd climb the property ladder, but it was mainly investor fed. And now that investors have pretty much completely disappeared and not buying any condos at all, the demand has practically gone. The only people buying condos right now are end users who are looking to call condos their first home, or downsizers. People that are actually forced to move are the ones that are buying condos, or forced to buy condos, I should say. The next reason you may want to consider selling your condo right now is that rents are pretty much trending down right now. If you look at the rentals.ca report that came out recently, Toronto condos have gone down year over year between 6 and 8%, depending on 1 or 2 bedrooms. Again, because of a lot of new condos coming into the market that's bringing a lot of supply, which was investor fed because the new condos that are coming up for completion were purchased by investors 3 to 4 years ago. And now we have all of this rental stock that's sitting on the market, and that's putting downward pressure on rents. So when your rents are lower and your interest still being high and where it is right now, investors just aren't able to cash flow positive or even neutral for that matter. And with the excess supply of new condos coming into the market in 2025, I don't really see rents catching up or going up anytime soon. Which brings me to my next point, which is a lot of the condos right now are in a cash flow negative environment, especially if you are somebody that got keys and got occupancy or closed on your condo within the last couple of years, then you're definitely in a tight spot because of the high interest rate environment or just a higher price point that you purchased at, and rents are just not enough to cover your mortgage payments. And with a lot of condo investors bleeding money right now, month over month, just carrying the property, they're opting to sell their condo right now. And although the Bank of Canada has been continuing to drop rates over the last year, there's still not enough relief that's required for a lot of condo investors to offset their carrying costs. The next reason why, and I've kind of already touched on this, but there is an excess supply right now. Right now, just from an active listings perspective, we're sitting at over 7,000 condos listed for sale at this time. And just in the month of January, the numbers that just came out from the Toronto Regional Real Estate Board, we've only had close to 1,100 sales. So there is a lot of months of inventory remaining in the Greater Toronto Area condo market. And of course, we're not having nearly enough demand, so none of that condo inventory is really being absorbed. And the last reason is there's a lot of purpose-built rental coming into the market in the near future. The federal and the provincial government have been putting incentives in place for builders to build purpose-built rental, and there's this huge initiative to drive the purpose-built rental program. Over the last few years, a lot of people have been complaining about the lack of rental stock because rents were just going through the roof right after COVID. And because majority of builders right now have shelved their new construction projects, the government has really pushed this narrative of purpose-built rentals, which means there's going to be a lot more rental stock coming in the future. And with a lot of rental options and a lot of rental stock, it's likely going to keep rents lower in the long term, which is why it may be wise to get rid of your condo right now. So the question is, should you sell your condo? Well, that depends. If you're in a cash flow negative situation where you're bleeding money month after month, especially let's just say close to $1,000 or more, then it's likely worthwhile considering putting a strong consideration behind selling your Toronto condo. The other way I analyze whether or not this is the right time to sell with my clients is to see whether or not there is a better opportunity elsewhere, right? So let's just say you are in a cash flow neutral situation, for example, and you're actually able to carry this thing, or even in a cash flow positive, let's just call it. And one of the things that you need to analyze is there a better opportunity out there? Is there something else out there that can yield a better result or a better return over the long term? If you're able to take some of the equity out from a condo, whatever equity you have left, and put it towards a different investment vehicle, for example, the freehold market has always outperformed the condo market long term, and there's a lot of good freehold opportunities in the market right now, then that's something you may want to consider. Now, I just want to emphasize that if you are somebody that's just looking to test the market and see whether or not you can get top dollar for your condo right now, this is not the time to do that. Buyers are fully aware of the chips they have and the leverage they have in this market. It is a complete buyer's market right now in the condo space. So if you are going to be putting your condo up for sale, make sure you're priced to sell and make sure you're priced competitively, especially when you're competing with a lot of inventory out there. You want to make sure that it shows well, make sure that it's priced well, make sure that it's potentially preferably staged, and also preferably vacant if you have tenants in there, and if they're at the end of their lease, maybe give them notice to the 60-day mandated notice, and then stage the property and then put it on the market so you have a bit of a competitive advantage over the other listings. And if you are somebody that's on the fence and not sure or whether or not you should be selling your condo, leave your thoughts in the comments. I'm curious to hear what you think your strategy is right now. And of course, if you'd like to book a one-on-one call with me, then go ahead and click the link in the description, and I'll be happy to hop on a one-on-one, no obligation call with you to see whether or not this is the right time for you to sell or just help with your overall real estate investment portfolio in general. Guys, I hope you found this video helpful. Please give it a like if you found it valuable. And of course, if you're new, don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching. Take care.